Once driven to the brink of extinction, there was a bird making a remarkable comeback. This is a story of the UK's greatest reintroduction success stories. Red kites were once a common sight across the British Isles. However, by the 1890s, these birds had been declared extinct in Scotland, and soon after they disappeared from England as well. By the early 1900s, only a small population remained in the upland valleys of Wales. But what caused the disappearance of red kites in Britain? To understand this, we need to delve into the history. In the 1400s, red kites were valued as natural scavengers in London, helping to clean up waste and carrion from the streets. In fact, they were even protected by royal decree, a sign that humans didn't always see them as pests. However, attitudes towards red kites shifted dramatically in the Tudor era. Between 1527 and 1529, a series of poor harvests led to skyrocketing food prices in England, with Scotland facing similar struggles. Then, in 1532, another failed harvest prompted King Henry VIII to pass the Preservation of Grain Act. This law targeted animals thought to threaten grain supplies, including the red kites. The situation worsened under the Vermin Act, which offered a bounty of 1 penny per kite head, a tempting reward when the average daily wage for a farmer was about 4 pence. Combined with advancements in weaponry, a growing interest for taxidermy, and egg collecting, these factors left the red kite population on the brink of extinction. But by 1989, conservationists set their sights on a bold new goal: reintroducing red kites to the British landscape. I recently sat down with Campbell Myrne at the Hawke Conservancy Trust to learn more about the origins of this ambitious project.
So we were the small stepping stones in the red kite reintroduction. We did a small local reintroduction of breed and release birds because we're a zoo. We had some red kites and we made an effort to get some red kites in for captive breeding. So we bred some chicks and we released those ones. And then we also released some birds that had come to us for rehabilitation. We released about 15 birds. That was the physical act of the reintroduction, but there was 5 years of work of preparation before we actually did the release.
Most of the birds chosen for the reintroduction programme were from Spain to ensure genetic diversity. Initial release sites were carefully chosen, which featured suitable habitats and abundant food supplies. By 1999, breeding populations had been established in multiple areas. However, the birds continued to face significant threats.
The biggest challenge was to worry about the birds, making sure they're going to be okay. Back then we didn't have satellite tags. We decided not to use wing tags on our birds, so we just used radio trackers. So we had students and also staff out and volunteers tracking the birds all the time. So there's a series of threats. Some are more important than others. Probably for red kites, the biggest threat to mortality of individual birds is rodenticides and rat poison. And that's because of their foraging behaviour. They're really good scavengers. My feeling is that they're quite susceptible to power lines. And then the final one would be what I call environmental contaminants. So it would be things like, apart from rodenticides, it would be lead and this growing concern over microplastics in the environment.
Although these threats are physically harming red kites, the damage caused by public perceptions can be even more detrimental. Fear of red kites is spreading once again, fueled by media reports of alleged attacks on children and pets.
Public perception, and that's really the biggest challenge, I think, because people have gone from going, wow, look, a red kite, to, oh, there's a lot of red kites now. And so there's this growing thought process that maybe there's too many kites now. There's still not that many. It feels like there's a lot, especially places like Reading, where we see kites every day and they're over town. And they come closer than buzzards. People see them more. See 2 or 3 kites flying around, and it's noticeable. Even if you're not into birds, you'll see it. So I think there's a feeling that the population is much higher than it actually is because of the behaviour of the kites. But really, compared to what? Compared to gulls, pigeons, there's really not very many kites. We just see them, and people get worried. Big bird of prey. They don't really understand what it does for a living. It's fear of the unknown, right? People see this big bird, they know it's a bird of prey, and they think, oh, maybe I should be worried. So a big part of what this project's doing, your work, my work, people in this world, it's explaining to people that red kites are just hanging around.
Red kite numbers have more than doubled between 2011 and 2016, with an impressive 4,400 pairs. However, this remarkable growth has slowed in recent years, and the population continues to face serious threats. While natural factors are unlikely to be responsible for the slowdown, human-related challenges remain significant concerns. Still, there is hope, and everyone can play their part in protecting these magnificent birds.
That we can do it, that nature can be restored, that there is a place for everything in the landscape, and if we all work together positively, things can be done. And yes, we can do it. We can restore species in this country. And they don't have to be big dramatic ones, they could be little pine hoverflies.
Together, through awareness, advocacy and small changes to our own choices, we can ensure a brighter future for the red kite. Their soaring comeback is a symbol of what we can achieve, and with continued care and vigilance, we can protect them for future generations to come.